Ethereum is on fire. Literally. Okay, maybe not literally, but it's hot. It's hot, baby. And lots of reasons why institutions are buying ETH. In today's BitBreak live stream, we're going to discuss some of the many reasons why institutions are running fast into ETH, guys. So if you're not, you definitely want to stay tuned for this one and watch, because we're going to get into this pretty deep here. I hope that you have been having a pretty good week, because, well, the market's treating us pretty good right now. We're going to talk in this stream. We're going to talk about, like I said, we're going to talk about some of the things that are driving ETH, but we're also going to talk about what that means for Bitcoin, because yes, money is flowing into ETH. Some of it is rotating out of Bitcoin, but I don't think it's nearly as much as people might think. I think what we're really seeing is new money come into ETH. A lot of it is coming through ETFs. And now that we know that those ETFs can be redeemed for in-kind, the underlying asset, that's pretty significant. And as of today, President Trump is signing legislation, an executive order that allows crypto to be integrated into 401k plans. That's also fundamental strength. But let's get into the details here. Before we do, if you're new to the stream, welcome. My name is Keith Allen. I'm a work-from-home dad. I'm a full-time trader. I am co-founder of Material Indicators. And I'll be sharing some of those tools today and give you some insight into how I interpret the data there and how I'm using that to help myself trade. But I'm also really going to take a deeper dive into why Ethereum is rapidly becoming the darling child of institutions. There's a lot to unpack here. So if you haven't done so yet, do me a favor, smash some buttons, help me grow this channel, right? It is ridiculous that I'm, quite frankly, looking at such low numbers on my subscriber rate. I hope that you guys will help me out. Let's boost this thing up. I think part of the problem is I do these live instead of doing the pre-recorded, edited version that the algos seem to like. But you can help me out by just liking, commenting, sharing. That helps the algo. But what really helps these streams, what really helps these episodes is your engagement. Live chat is open. I'm always down to hear what you have to say. If you have questions, I'll do my best to answer them. If you have insights, by all means, please share them. We all learn together. A high tide raises all boats. Let's go ahead and climb into the charts. The first thing I want to show you today is a chart that I put together a while ago, and then I recently did a revision on this chart. And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about here. I added another asset to this. It's a comparison of Bitcoin dominance with total 3 ES, stablecoin dominance, and now I've added ETH dominance to this chart, and it really gives us a nice illustration of where the money is flowing at any given moment. So let's go ahead and share that screen. Let's go with this guy right here. And you can see, so in the orange, Bitcoin dominance, and you can see we had this nice divergence going here for a bit where we thought we might get an alt season. That obviously has not yet materialized. All hopes are not dashed yet, but we didn't get what a lot of people thought was coming. At least not yet. We haven't. So now you see that divergence going the other way, where Bitcoin dominance spiked, ETH dominance fell, and now today, past couple days since really the weekend, we start seeing a drop in Bitcoin dominance and a resurgence in total 3 ES and ETH. Total 3 ES, for those that don't know, it's the top 100 coins by market cap, excluding Bitcoin, excluding ETH, and excluding stable coins. And now, instead of just having USDT dominance, we have a new metric courtesy of our friends at TradingView that is stable coin dominance. So this includes, the top stable coins like USDC, USDT. So there's that. And of course, we see ETH dominance on the rise here as well. And this shows us money flowing into ETH, money flowing into alts. We've seen a nice recovery on some alts here in the past couple of days. as many of them went into major drawdown here. So this is kind of this is like the 10,000-foot view of what's happening at any given moment. And you can find this chart. I post it on my X page regularly. And it's, of course, very easy to recreate. You just need to, add the assets if you want to, make this for yourself and follow along. It's Bitcoin dominance, total 3 ES, ETH dominance, and stablecoin dominance, all layered together in a comparison. Very handy, I find. Now let's go ahead and look straight up at the ETH chart. We had a nice dip last week, and that's the monthly chart. I guess while I'm here, we could just kind of have that big overview. Obviously, last month was huge. That was settled as a 49% candle, and so it made sense that we would see a bit of a pullback, and look where it pulled back to, these timescape levels down here. Let's go into the weekly time frame, and there we go. You can see exactly where these levels came to. Actually, we have some fib levels in here as well. This is the 0.618 fib on a macro retracement. From the all-time high down to the swing low. And of course, we've been climbing out of this since June of 2022. And obviously, ETH has had a rough year up until I guess April, when we really both ETH and Bitcoin, the markets, TradFi as well, bottomed out on the first tariff announcement, which was ugly, right? And here we are. We thought we'd be done with all this tariff stuff because the administration told us we would be done, but of course we're not. The can has once again been kicked down the road. So it is what it is, right? Tariffs are coming. Some already exist. We don't know the full depth and breadth of what those amounts are going to be, but I think the market is baking in to some degree. There's still that level of uncertainty on what the overall outlook is going to mean for the economy, and of course those downward revisions we had on labor numbers last week. Also, the market did not like that, but gosh, that was opportunity here. I mean, we had a beautiful dip, came down into actually shot through the yearly open and bounced from the 0.618 fib. So if we look at that on the daily time frame, you can see there's a lot of levels here that come into play that are pretty important. This would be the yearly open, this timescape level, obviously holding a support. This is the first week of the year, which was recently retested, and so this is absolutely critical in my mind. So now that ETH has since today really reclaimed, and we haven't closed here yet, so it's not done, but hasn't reclaimed, is attempting to reclaim the 21-day moving average. We need to see this hold for this momentum to continue, obviously. In terms of finding these, buying these dips, I hope you did, and if you didn't, I hope you'll consider something. And I've shared this quite a bit in the past. I like, like a lot of investors and traders, I like to buy those dips, right? But it's not always easy to know which ones are going to bounce. And I've shared with you the MTF mean reversion indicator. Yes, this is a material indicators tool. It's available on TradingView with a subscription, but this utilizes mean reversion as its primary driving force in this algo, and has a very, very high hit rate. Now, hit rates don't mean anything if you don't have good risk management. So I'm not going to pepper you with numbers, but just know that I have been using this since before we even founded the company. I've been using this since like 2018, and it has been a rock solid performer across market conditions, across cycles. And as you can see, The strategy I use is I dollar cost average my way in. I like to take I'll take multiple signals, small orders, dollar cost averaging my way into these positions, and this obviously has turned out to be a nice one. If we just ballpark the average somewhere around here, um, that's up about 12% at this point. And so if you're using it to scalp or swing trade your money, I hope you've taken that profit already. If you're using it to accumulate and dollar cost average your long-term hodl positions, as I'm doing now, at least with assets like Bitcoin and ETH, with alts, I'm still, I'm kind of in the take the money and run mode, to be honest with you. I think that the alt season that was that was advertised did not truly hit. I don't know that we'll actually ever get the real, or at least the alt season in the true sense that we know them historically, right? Where we see Bitcoin dominance drop into the sub 50% levels. I don't know that we will see that again because there's so much institutional demand for Bitcoin. And even though we see that dominance dropping, price is not really dropping so far. Price is holding, relatively well here. It also, of course, running into some resistance here on the technical analysis, running into resistance at the 21-day moving average. And until Bitcoin can clear this, there's just no sense in talking about a breakout and a new all-time high. Simple as that, in my opinion. Looks like we got a couple comments here. Let's see what is what's queued up here. Hey, Alex, always good to have you with me, my man. What do I think about MEI Pharma adopting Litecoin on its corporate treasury? Oh, man. I was a big fan of Litecoin. I have been for a long time, and I've been, how should I say, a little bit annoyed with how they have been, how they've been executing. And this doesn't take anything away from the fundamental strength of Litecoin, because Litecoin does what it does, and it's done it. It's a dino coin. It's been around for a long time. One of the originals, right? It was Bitcoin, ETH, Litecoin. I don't know if Litecoin was actually third, but I mean, certainly probably in the top five of major crypto assets that were early on. It's not currently sitting in the top five on market cap by any stretch of the imagination, and it doesn't. It underperforms a lot. It's had a good week, and it's pulled back from that week, from this week so far. What am I looking for here? Those are exchanges. Let's look at coins to see where Litecoin sits, and I'll get to your question about the treasury here in a second. So Litecoin's, still it's a top 20 asset, right? And it has solid fundamentals on performance. It performs, it's got 100% uptime. It transacts faster than Bitcoin does. So the Litecoin maxis think that Litecoin will be the crypto that people actually spend. And maybe that will happen. Maybe that's how things will transpire. And I know that some payment platforms have already integrated Litecoin. So there are some fundamental things that are good about Litecoin. What I don't love about Litecoin is that it's just not, doesn't seem to be as active of a community, especially on the dev side. And I don't think they do a great job of communicating what they really do and what their plans are. And by that, if you follow them on social media, it's just, it's memes and shit posting 99% of the time. I would much rather have them tell us what they're doing, what they've achieved, what partnerships are happening, what's growing, what's doing, what's moving, what's shaking, like this MEI Pharma deal. I mean, let's take a look at their page, because I'll be honest with you, I have not. I think I saw a post about that recently, but I haven't heard a lot of fanfare about it. So you're the first to really point it out. Oh, like this is, oh goodness gracious. Selling stockholders sell 109 shares, blah blah blah. Just in, $397 billion asset manager Citadel identified as top investor in MEIP's Litecoin Treasury Fund. Okay. And shitposting memes, shitposting memes, shitposting memes. What is telling me about the strength of this coin and this blockchain and this asset? Very, very little. This is how they choose to market. Like it just sours me. There. In fact, it looks like, oh, here we go. Here's August 5th, and it's still goofy. Like they need to replace their social media manager with somebody who actually, like gets it. I'm just saying. So that frustrates me a little bit. Now, in terms of how do I feel about the corporate treasury thing? I'll be honest with you. Risky, in my opinion. Very risky. I think that the ETH corporate treasury makes sense. I think that the Bitcoin corporate treasury makes sense. We've even heard of Solana. But what is Litecoin doing? And Alex, maybe you can shed some light on this. What is Litecoin doing to add value? What are they doing to bring value to that corporate treasury other than just being a speculative asset? Yes, they so if they get integrated into more payment platforms, great. How does that grow the value of the investment? Are there, I don't see any great staking for Litecoin, at least not on centralized exchanges. I don't see any yield. So what is the value? That's my take on it. That's number one. Number two is in terms of investing, and this is just my this is my two cents. In terms of investing, if you're going to invest in a company based on their adoption of a treasury on another asset, okay, we understand the value of the Bitcoin treasury and the value of the ETH treasury because of the place that those things now have in the financial system. Litecoin's not there yet. So, hey, maybe this is an early thing, but nonetheless, like if you're going to invest in a company that's building on that principle of that treasury alongside their other business, right? And I'm not talking about a crypto-centric business like Bitmine. I'm talking about a company like Cardone Capital, a notorious major real estate investor. They're adding Bitcoin to the balance sheet because they think it's a hedge against the economy. Well, why wouldn't you just add your own Bitcoin instead of, if you're buying Bitcoin or ETH or whatever asset, why would you invest in a publicly traded company that's investing in those assets? Because it's not a hedge. You're basically doubling down. And it's not diversifying. It's the same investment. So that's why I prefer at this stage to keep my money in the underlying asset. So I think that we're going to see a trend of a lot of, well, by a lot, I'll say multiple altcoins jockeying for a treasury type trend like we see, like we've seen in Bitcoin and like we're seeing just absolutely explode in ETH. And I think that could really spell that could really be a sign of the top. Okay. because imagine what happens when when the cycle tops and we move into a bear market, and there will be another bear market. Okay, up only does not exist. There will be more bear markets in our future. There will be more downtrends and corrections in our future. And imagine what happens when those publicly traded companies that have taken on millions, hundreds of millions, billions in digital assets to hedge their stock price. And then those assets dump. What happens when there's a 50% correction, a 70% correction in the asset price of the digital asset? What's going to happen to those stock prices? It's going to be a bloodbath. And those guys aren't nimble, right? It's not like you're holding a position and you can close your position. Especially if they're staked, right? So I think that's risky. But I'm a super cautious trader. That's my take on it. You may have a different opinion, and I'd love to hear it if you do. I'm intrigued that this has started with Litecoin, but I would want to see more coming along with it. I mean, obviously, it has given Litecoin a bit of a tailwind over the past week, but as I just showed you, that tailwind is running into a little bit of resistance here. So let's see on the weekly if that changes much. No, I mean, you just have to, and there's some history of resistance at this range here, right? So if it breaks here, we have a double top to get past at the $140 level. And then I've always felt that there was more potential upside for Litecoin and a lot of potential upside for Litecoin, even just to get on a fib retracement and get back to the all-time high. There is meat on the bone here, folks. But it seems to be a slow mover. So slow and steady move, wins the race, they might say. But I'm not, I do have a little bit of Litecoin. I bought and sold this position and recycled it several times. I'm just, where I thought I was going to hang on to it, way back here. I ended up selling when these dips, when we got these rejections, because I didn't want to take this ride. So I did buy back in recently, small position, and I'm contemplating what I'm going to do there, because at this stage, I want to build my ETH position larger, and I want to build my Bitcoin position larger. And I'm really less and less interested in holding some of these alts. There are a few that have my interest, and the reason they have my interest is quite frankly their use in the financial system, and the fact that they're all built on ETH is another reason to be interested in ETH, right? So let's go back to the ETH chart so we can kind of stay on point. And Ondo would be one of those, by the way, which here's another one. I thought, hey man, I get in on good on this, and I'm just going to ride it. But I sold that as well, because I didn't want to take this ride all the way down. And now I'm contemplating on whether or not I'll take another position here. It's struggling with resistance here at the 21-day moving average, as many things are right now. So let's get back to ETH, which running into some resistance here at a prior timescape level here. This is actually the 2022 yearly open range. And if and when, I say if, when price can push past this, we have other areas of resistance that are going to come into play before ETH can size up an all-time high. And one is, let me turn off trend precognition and clean this up a little bit. One of those areas is really a triple top scenario, in my opinion. 1, 2, 3 tops here, right at this. It's like a 4,100K level. 4,100 level, I should say, not 4,100K, 4,100. Will be a little bit of resistance before we can size up this all-time high, which is closer to 5,000. That's at like what, 48, high 48s. And I think it's coming. How high we go from there, all of this remains to be seen. But there's so much interest, not just because of the ETH Treasury, and I think the ETH Treasury concept that Tom Lee introduced us to last month, I think is really something that could it's already driving a lot of interest in ETH, and we're obviously seeing the money flow, but it's the reason. It's not just that Tom Lee has started this treasury; it is the rationale behind the treasury, which is that ETH is the oil that is going to drive the financial system and other things as well. And so that's a huge part of it, right? ETH is all, another really massive part of this is that ETH is behind, supporting all the tokenization of RWAs, of real world assets. So this is a driving force for sure. And so we have this coming into play, ETH powering tokenization platforms. We have banks onboarding now. We have clarity in the regulatory environment that banks and institutional adopters are in. BlackRock, Fidelity, Bitwise, all ramping up ETH-focused products, including ETH staking funds and treasury strategies. We have recent signals from the SEC suggesting ETH not classified as a security. We just recently heard that staking is okay. And so, I mean, this is the landscape is changing fast. I mean, lightning fast. And so with all of this happening, I think it's clear that ETH, not only is Bitcoin here to stay, ETH is here to stay, and ETH really is going to have such an important role in the financial system that we see not only these institutional investment firms, but we see banks coming in and onboarding, not just onboarding ETH, but also stable coins, which of course, the majority of which are built on ETH. So this isn't just a matter of these guys speculating on ETH. They're building the future of finance on ETH. So it's one thing to speculate and go, hey, Litecoin's going to be great. ETH is going to be great. Bitcoin's going to be great. But they're actually putting in the work and the effort and the investment to build, hear me, banks who have been, who have stood to lose the most from crypto, right? Rather than get beat and left in the dust, they're embracing it. They're pouring their investment into these assets, into this technology. And so it's not just speculating on, gosh, well, if a bunch of people, invest in these ETH treasury funds, then ETH is going to go up. They're building the financial system, rebuilding the financial system on Ethereum. Simple as that. So, are you going to own any? That question's up to you. I will tell you this. I own Bitcoin. I own ETH. I own a few alts. I don't have conviction really on the alts. I have conviction on Bitcoin, and I now have conviction on ETH. Everything else is at this stage a tool for me to trade and make more money that I can reinvest in Bitcoin and ETH. That's my approach. You have to do whatever works for you. Not telling you to do it my way, just telling you how I do it. You do as always, what works for you. Hope that has given you some insight. And I will leave you with a parting look at two things, two metrics. We can look at the ETF flows real quickly, and we can see that ETH ETFs have continued to do pretty well. There were obviously 2 down days here at the beginning of the month, but overall, it has been up for ETH over the past couple of weeks. And the other thing I wanted to look at real quickly is what's happening in the order book. And we can see a lot of buying is happening here at these levels. Strong resistance up at this 3,900 range. So I'm not sure that we're going to break this week, and that's okay. I look at dips as opportunities to buy. Don't get wrecked here, guys. Again, if you're looking for a great way to identify the dips that have a greater chance of producing desirable results, mean reversion is absolutely your friend. You can get some insight and info on these tools. Links are in the description. And of course, you can always find me here and on Telegram. Thanks again for the follow, guys. As always, I do appreciate it and look forward to doing this again. Been a busy week, and we're going to see if we can end it strong for you tomorrow, guys. Have a good one. Thanks again.